All right, guys, we're going to do something that's a big no-no in the YouTube world. I'm posting a 4th of July decor video after 4th of July. Oh, I know. But I started working on this beginning of June, and I was so proud of myself because I was so ahead of the times. And I had this really awesome idea, and I was going to share it with you guys early June, but life happened. And while I did get this video edited, I did not end up getting it posted before our recent trip to Colorado. We're going to talk more about that here in a second, but I just didn't want to waste this footage, and I feel like talking. So I thought maybe we can watch me fumble through this crafting process where I'm just kind of making things up as I go, and we can just connect a little bit. I'm going to talk to you about a few things that are going on, and then I will still show you how everything comes together, and then maybe you can file this away in your brain until next year. But also, I think this could be really fun for any time of the year. See how we're going to make it relevant? You can find shirts at a thrift store. That's what this pile is. Just a bunch of thrifted dress shirts that go along with a birthday color theme, or you could do something like this for Halloween or fall, which are knocking at our door, y'all. Can you believe it? But this particular project, I was obviously getting ready for 4th of July. I don't really have a lot of 4th of July decorations, and a lot of times I see things that are just too cheesy, in my opinion. And so I decided to make my own stuff this year. And our Joann's, just like everybody else's, has recently closed. RIP. I still am so sad about that. I think I've mentioned it in every video I've posted recently. I saw somebody post a picture of the Joann's sign get taken off the building, and you could just see where the word, like the letters, used to be. That's so sad. Anyway, we don't have a lot of craft stores where we are. We have a Walmart and we have a Michael's, and Walmart's fabric selection is slim to none, and Michael's, at least right now, doesn't have any. So I decided to make my little project happen out of dress shirts, which, you know what, if I was to buy fabric like this, like super thick with texture and all these beautiful colors, it probably would have cost like triple the amount of what I paid. Most of these thrift shirts I was able to snag for around $2 to $4. I even got one for free because the person said it had stains on it, and I said, thank you very much. But I wanted to make some banners and some flags, and we're going to do that. So I just start kind of cutting the shirts up here, doing the collars, and starting to play with them a little bit to see how I like things. And you know what I kept saying in my head over and over and over again? Red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. I was so nervous that I was going to screw that up. But like, I don't think anybody would really care if it wasn't in the order of red, white, and blue. So I touch the pieces often throughout these videos, and I'm saying in my head, red, white, blue, red, white, blue, red, white, blue. So right now I'm kind of figuring out how I want to go about this little flag that I'm going to make. This was very much like, we're going to figure it out as we go. You're going to see that. It's not going to be, crafting gold, but it is a good idea, I think. And it's no snow. Wow. Also no snow because it's summertime. Okay. So watch me do the red, white, and blue as I touch the fabric, and we'll just let old Kendra from the past figure this out. And I just want to talk to you about a couple things. So recently, we went on this big trip with my mom to Colorado, which I talked about in previous videos as well. We were looking forward to it. I hadn't seen my mom in person for 2 years, which is a really big deal for us. If you just have stumbled upon this video, hi, welcome. Hey, I'm glad you're here, but I'm sure this is a little bit weird for you. We used to live in Texas, and we moved to southern Utah about 4 years ago, which is crazy to say that out loud. It still feels like we just moved to the area. And my mom has flown out a few times to see us. And other than that, we've not seen her. And recently, they've taken a break from coming out here, which I'm so glad that they did because it's so expensive to get out here. And I want them to, when they have vacation time, to do other things besides using their vacation time to come see us. So I was very glad that we had a little break because I wanted that from them. But I was very, very, very excited to see her. And this was her Christmas gift to us last year. was this upcoming trip to Colorado. And we were going to meet up in my favorite place in all the world. It's called Fairplay, Colorado. Not a lot of people know about it. It's a teeny tiny old little mining town. It used to be a coal mining town. And a lot of those same cabins that the crewmen used to live in are still just scattered everywhere. Some of them are falling apart. Some of them have been fixed up, and they now host like little coffee shops and things like that inside them. And it's very, very high elevation. And so I think it's a bit more popular during the winter months. It's about 45 minutes outside Breckenridge, if you know Breckenridge. And Vail is not too far off as well. I think most people go and visit those areas, but we love that it's not super touristy and it's kind of on the outskirts where you can do the small town, like cute, sweet vibes, and everybody there is so lovely. And then you can drive the most beautiful 45 minutes down the mountains to go to Breckenridge and do all the touristy stuff. It's kind of best of both. So we used to go every single summer. We started going when I was pregnant with Weston, my oldest. And we had gone every year since then until the world shut down, and that kind of put a stop in us going out there. And then of course we moved out to Utah, and the rest is the rest. So we were so excited to go meet up with my mom and just have this connecting time with her in a cabin up in the mountains in one of my favorite cities in the whole world, at least that I've traveled to. But unfortunately, while we were there, one of my sons suffered a health emergency. It was very traumatic how everything played out. And the trip didn't end up being what we were all hoping for. And we cut it very short. And we've been home now for about 3 weeks, kind of still walking through this as a family. But we have each other, and that's what matters most. And I'm very, very, very grateful that I have time to be at home with my boys. We've cleared our schedule for the whole summer. We had a bunch of trips coming. We've canceled all of those. We've canceled all summer camps. They had a music class they were attending this summer. That's been canceled. And we're just hunkering down and focusing on each other and getting my son healthy. So I think at some point I will maybe share more about what's going on, but we are very much in the thick of it right now. And I would like to be able to show up from a place of help. And right now I'm not strong enough to do that yet. So maybe in the future. I'm sharing this today in this video because we have a video coming out pretty soon. It's a day in Colorado. It was our first day there in Fairplay. My mom hadn't arrived just yet, and we took the day just to visit all of our favorite spots, the places that we hit year after year, and we went all the time. And it was like a big hug from Fairplay. We saw a lot of familiar faces, and it was just so good to be in such familiar spots. We did a lot of before and after pictures, pictures that we took of the boys when they were little, and we recreated them now that they're older in the same area. It was just such a joyful day. And we really had no idea what was around the corner for us. But I planned on vlogging every day that we were in Colorado because I wanted to document the trip and that time with my mom. And in the video, which you'll see, I kind of mention, we'll see you tomorrow and we'll do this thing tomorrow. And there isn't a tomorrow for those vlogs because everything changed. But I do still very much want to share that day with you because it was so beautiful for us. And I'm very grateful that I documented that day and we have those memories of that time in Fairplay. So that will be coming up after you guys watch this video, so pretty soon. And then we'll kind of get back into just rather regular content stuff. I'm going to be at home a lot this summer while we're kind of going through this, and I'm going to tackle some home projects. I have a few in mind, and I have some thrift flips I want to share with you guys, and just some really fun summer bucket list items that we have planned from our home. So be on the lookout for that, but let's move on and talk about other things. I wanted to talk a little bit about 4th of July in our new state because I'm really curious. I'm curious what you guys experience where you are. So when we used to live in Texas, you were not allowed to pop fireworks. You had to drive outside of the city limits. So many miles outside of the city limits. And once you did that, there were I don't know, what do you call it? Like places you buy fireworks? Fireworks stands, maybe that's what that is. As far as the eye could see, and you would buy your fireworks out there, and then you would just take it, like maybe you had property or you had family that lived out there, and that's where you would pop your fireworks. Also, I had somebody one time tell me that it's different that I say popping fireworks. I think it's a Texas thing. I think she was from California, and she said they don't say that in California. So if you're listening and you're like, ooh, popping fireworks, weird. I don't know. That's just how we say it in Texas. So when we moved to Utah, our first 4th of July here, we were shocked that people pop fireworks in the neighborhood and that you can go to the grocery store and buy crazy fireworks. Big ones, like professional grade showtime fireworks. And there was a neighbor in our neighborhood, and I think word around town is that people contributed and they all kind of pulled their money together and they would buy the biggest, craziest, wildest fireworks, ones that you would, in Texas, that we would drive to go and watch at a fireworks show. That's just what you did. If you wanted to watch fireworks, you just went to the show and watched it with everybody else. But people would bring their chairs and put them all over the street, and this fireworks show, it would go on for hours and hours and hours and hours. If you know how expensive fireworks are, you know they spent a pretty penny. And then it's not only their show, there's other people in the neighborhood that are popping fireworks. And then where we live, we're very centrally located to like the professional shows. So behind our house, there's probably 5 or 6 professional shows that are going off in the background. It is so loud. It is so loud. And people are having so much fun, which is so beautiful, but they're having that fun until like 2 o'clock in the morning. And when you have small children and you have a dog that is terrified of fireworks, it just hits a little different, it just hits a little different. So we have been getting used to experiencing 4th of July in a neighborhood where they're going off until like 2 o'clock in the morning, which is, to each their own. We'll just say that. But if you're watching and you can do this in your neighborhood also, and maybe Texas is the weird one, I would love to know down below, especially if you're located in the US. And if you're not, hey, if y'all do fireworks as well for celebrations, how do you guys tackle that? Okay, so my flags are done. I really had a lot of fun making those flags. And then I loved coming in afterwards and kind of finishing them up a little bit, covering the little dowel stick things with extra fabric on the back so you couldn't see all of my glue dribbles, and then adding a little fringe to that one. There's another flag that I made earlier on that I didn't like, and I ended up cutting it up, and when I cut it up, it made this really cool, it's on the table next to the fringe one, but the one I'm holding up there, that one's cute too, but it made this one. See how it has like the little, I don't know, like ruffle design? It's because I cut one of the other flags up and I thought that was really pretty. So I just added that as detail there. But I think these are so fun because you could literally do whatever you want. And then I went and got some vessels this was my vision in my head. I thought this would be what I would put them in because the colors would look so pretty against that brass. But the scale I could not get them how I wanted. I even put some paper towel inside there to see if I could prop the sticks up a little bit higher. But it wasn't working out. And then I thought maybe this little blue vase both of those items, that blue vase and the brass one, were thrifted over the years. But it didn't work out in the blue one either. I kind of fumble with it a little bit and move it all around my house. And that's where I put it. But it didn't end up there in the long haul. But this looks okay. It looks okay. Imagine, this is what I think would be so cute, making mini versions of these and putting them on cupcakes or a birthday cake. How cute, right? If anybody tackles this after 4th of July project, come back and let me know because I would love to know. All right, so I messed with that for a little bit, and then we're going to move on to another project, which you'll see here in a second. But let's talk a little bit more about 4th of July. It used to be my favorite holiday when I was a kid. We had a family member that had some property out in Texas, like in the country. And my family would get together and we would make a whole day of it. By the way, that little box, Thrifted. I'm sure when I'm videoing it, I'm thinking that's what I'm telling you. So let me just clue you in on that. Thrifted. It's Thrifted, okay? Oh my gosh, they're so cute, guys. Let's give them a moment. Look at how cute they are. They actually don't look that bad in that brass thing, but I just didn't like it. Okay, we're going to go back to my childhood 4th of July in a second, and look at this. This is so cute and so easy, and I straight up copied somebody from Pinterest. I'm going to look for her blog post, and I will share it down below because this did not come from my brain. I even copied the colors. It was the colors that drew me in. I love that stinking light blue, and then that little pinstriped red ribbon. So beautiful. And I don't know how she did it, but I decided to hang my string first, tie my bows so I can get my bows how I wanted them. And then I'm so proud of myself. It's so cute. You copied it. It's so cute. I tied the bows out off of the string, not on the string, and then I hot glued the bow to the string, if that makes sense. I wanted to see how it was going to hang. You know, ribbons, they can be a little bit floppy when you do bows, and then it doesn't hang as well as you think it's going to when you assemble something like this not being hung. Wow, that's a very confusing sentence. Hopefully you get what I'm putting down there. Anyway, okay, now we're moving on to this groundbreaking idea. It's not, but I thought like, oh, so cute. I wanted to make a garland. And so I just did strips and strips and strips of the shirt material and I tied it together. I made a whole bunch of this. I ended up adding some of this to my fireplace. It's in our this is our powder room. So it's in the powder room. And then I also made a bunch and put some in my library. I really like it. It was really easy to make. And I'm always thinking about this aspect of holiday decor. Is it easy to store? We don't have a lot of storage in this house. And I have a lot of Halloween decorations and a lot of Christmas decorations. So as I'm adding on more things like, 4th of July or whatever, I got to make sure it stores fairly tiny in the little spots. Anyways, I liked the way it looked, but I thought it needed a little bit of something extra, so I added some tassels to the end. And then also, in a second, you're going to see a view from far away. Some of it I thought like, oh, the strip is too long. Like, see that white strip at the top? I thought it was just too much white for too long. So I just cut a little bit and went in there and tied it to kind of break up the white a bit. Okay. We are going to go back to my 4th of July story, but I just keep wanting to tell you other things. Look at this shirt. I was so excited when I found this shirt. This is a different day, and it's like my two favorite colors. I just love that blue with that red. It's great for 4th of July, but I just love it anytime. Anyways, as I was doing all these projects, I kept saving the pockets because I thought, oh, I'm going to think of something really awesome to do with these pockets. I didn't know what it was at the time. But I'm on a roll at this point, and I decided I'm going to make a garland out of it. And then I'm wanting to show you this. This shirt is a 5X. And when you're thrifting clothes, that one's a double X. When you're thrifting clothes to use as fabric, it's the same price, at least at the thrift stores that I go to, for even the bigger shirts. So if you can find bigger shirts, grab those, girls, because you get more fabric to use for your projects, Okay, so we've decided we're doing a little pocket garland with this, and just to kind of pull it together, I wanted to add stars to the pockets with coordinating or colors from the fabric that I use in the garland. So I'm cutting out my little star template here, and all I did was cut the star. I used the template to cut the star out of the fabric, and then I hot glued it onto the pocket because I don't know how to sew, and it worked out great. And my vision was to hang this and then to get some baby's breath and kind of sprinkle sprigs of baby's breath randomly in the pockets. I never got around to that, but just sharing. So if you ever decide to tackle this, you can do that. You can finish it out and put baby's breaths in your pocket because I think it would look so cute. All right. Anyways, 4th of July, when I was a kid, the best time. All day long, outside with my family, which I don't know how we did this in Texas because it's very, very hot and humid. But we played softball. There was a softball field at this property. We would do tetherball. We would do volleyball. There was lots of watermelon. There was wood exploration with me and my cousins just like running off into nature to play. Fireworks, definitely not popped in a very safe manner. There were piñatas. It was the thing that childhood memories are made of. And I'm so grateful that I got to experience that growing up. It's some of my fondest memories with my family. Even though it was July. And how did we survive? How did we survive outside all day in July? I don't even know. Okay, I'm putting my banner together, and you know what I'm saying here. What do you think I'm saying? Red, white, blue. Red, white, blue. Red, white, blue. It was very easy. I just used that same string that I used for the garland on the fireplace, and then I hot glued these to the string, and then it hung so beautifully in my library, and you're going to see it here in just a second.
you.